Hello to viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Future Friday, we're going to talk about small scale manufacturing. So let's dive right into it. Now, first we have to understand mass production before we understand small scale manufacturing. Now, this puppy has the magical power of making anything in cheap price. Basically, reduce cost of anything that is manufactured. For example, let's take a modern smartphone. You can buy modern smartphone for very low cost. Here's deal. Compare that puppy to audio equipments. Let's say an audio recorder, basic one. You will find that that basic audio recorder is far more expensive. Why? Because it's not mass produced to the same extent as a smartphone. So even a flop smartphone is made in few million pieces, while a very successful audio recorder would be made in entire lifetime. That kind of unit. So fundamentally, it has the ability to make anything, however complex it may be, cheaper. So that's amazing. And it also has the magical property of making complex thing extremely fast. For example, you can literally have a production line that is mass producing something as complex as car one every minute. Basically cars that can happen, that really happens. So that's the amazing thing. And another aspect, it allows civilization to grow. Basically, if you want to check the health of a country, you can just check what is their mass production status, basically how quickly they are producing cement and steel. These are the easiest way to figure out how good their economic health is. Like, there would not be any country that is like, oh, we are very good in terms of our economical strength and these two things are lacking. They will always be like, paired with it. So that's the amazing aspect of mass production. Now, is it amazing? Well, yes, it is amazing, but it does have some issues. Now, one of the primary limitation of this puppy is that huge capital cost is required, as in huge. What does that translate to? That simply means the amount of money that you have to pour into it is so significant, most rich people cannot even dream of it. Like, let me repeat that. Most rich people cannot do that. Like, this is the thing that top 1%er to top 10%er can only dream of. These are so expensive that you could literally have to take out a loan from a bank that could take 30 years to pay off, or you have to take a loan from a freaking government. So be mindful, the capital investment on these large plants, they are idiotically high. Then that's just the plant cost. Then we come to another next level thing, that is epic R&D level that is needed. Now you could notice that, like, Elon Musk built a car company and there was amazing amount of hype. Like, other car companies kill for that kind of attention, where they're like, everybody wants to buy their car. But why the heck they had so many years of a situation where they're like to always behind schedule? Because they was stuck in the part of basically R&D at the factory level. Think of it this way. Let's say you go to Tata is like, okay, I want to design a car for you. They're like, okay, here's your team, build a car. Awesome. Now here's the deal. Once the car is done, once it's approved, when everybody's like did the cost analysis and all that, then it will go to another team that will sit down, okay, let's figure it out how to make it. And that's the reality. Elon Musk sucked in that department. It's like he was flat out telling, it's like, oh, sometimes automation is like bad. It's like, no, that simply means you did implemented it wrong. As simple as that. Automation is never wrong, only poor implementation is. So fundamentally they did not know. And like, you can see that, like, people who deal with automobiles, they can take apart Tesla car. It's like, what the hell, why the heck you have 50-60 parts on your chassis? It's like and compared that to other major manufacturers like Toyota, Hyundai, Maruti, whatever have you, it's like 5-6 parts, done, go home, sweet dreams. So you get that part. Like, making a product, that's the easy part to them. Making a factory that mass produces that efficiently, good luck with that. Then because of the modern environment of, like, cutthroat competition, it's way too close to what we call sunken cost fallacy, meaning you would end up spending so much money that if you have to change, let's say you spend money on a car design, everything you built, everything is awesome, and you built a factory for it. Here's the government changed a rule for it, or heck, let's say a new technology came into market, let's say anti-lock braking system. You could literally end up in a scenario where you have to either take insane amount of loss, or you will still keep releasing older car, simply because the amount of capital investment that you did, the amount of principal that you have to pay back, the amount of interest you have to pay back, you have to sell these things. So fundamentally it's very close to sunken cost fallacy. So it's not flexible, and that's the another aspect of it. The flexibility in execution is very poor. For example, you may think cars are big machines and they have a paint booth. Then why don't you have the ability to do custom order? Simply because how their paints is mixed, that is also quote unquote controlled. What does that mean? That simply means car company have to make a decision. It's like, okay, we have a chassis, now do we prioritize mass production or do we prioritize customization? So if they prioritize customization, they will have all cars go through single paint booth. Now benefit, does have lower cost. Side effect, speed is slower. Now if they are like, okay, we know for a fact that at least there will be 5 colors and there will be good demands, they will make 5 independent paint booth and then send blank cards through all of them. So production is pretty high. Now if you think these will be idiotically expensive, and that you will be correct, and that's the primary reason why you do not find a mobile phone in hundreds of color. It's super easy to do, but it's just idiotically inflexible. So in terms of execution, mass production environment does not like that. It's like, make one color, awesome, like literally your car price will go down. Then we come to another aspect which is really painful for many businessmen, is like the return on investment. It does happen, that's why people do it. It's just very slow, meaning you could literally be dead by the time the return on investment could happen. So big plants could take like easily 10-20 years. Is like, bro, please, it's like, bro. So be very mindful. It does work. Mass production, when it's done right, when things align up, it's amazing. But when it does not, it's not. And on top of that, it's generally only suited for things that have idiotically high demand, not for things that are people desire customizability. It's not suited for that. So that is the issue with mass production. Then we come to modern reality of how the heck you're gonna develop something in small scale. Now you have to understand this. In 1970, this was flat out impossible, but modern tools are idiotically flexible and almost free. For example, you can literally go to the internet and be like, hey, I want to design a PCB. There are free tools, and those tools are so good compared to what we had in, like, even as early as, let's say, 2000. People will be like, what the hell? Like, people in 2000 will literally end your life just to get the technology that you can get for free today. So technological development of tools today is mind-boggling. From PCB to actual CNC machines to actual, like, let's say, CAD modeling. CAD was like, god level technology which only few countries had the ability to manufacture, and let alone the softwares were like so expensive. It was like, and you would not want to run your factory on a cracked software, simply because if the company that mass produces that puppy, as in like the software, they find out, they will sue your ass. So fundamentally speaking, it was idiotically hard to do in terms of development, like, let alone mass production. Development of the damn thing was very pardon me for the power cut, very basically problematic. Now what happened after that? Modern tools makes that super easy and free. Like, you can have FreeCAD, you can have Eagle Design. I think there are many softwares that can do amazing things for free, from 3D modeling to actual CAD modeling to PCB design to simulation analysis. All these things can be done for free, for fraction of a cost, basically, and things can be done at home. Now this is the amazing part, because first step is the hardest step, that is get done, like make one of something, and that can be done in house today. That's amazing. To give you a idea of that if you get one done, and that means you can do 10 or even 100. The moment you reach 10 to 100 you can have what we call small batch success. Basically, you can sell them and the cost will be high, but you can make enough profit that you can invest in bigger things or give larger order, and that allows you to calibrate your production system. So fundamentally, you can grow your business based on home tools, and there are many people who have done that. And the primary reason why this is even feasible today is because of CNC is easy now. What does that mean? That simply means computer numeric control is something that every Tom, Dick and Harry can do. Basically, you can have 3D printer. I have a 3D printer. You can have a CNC machine. You can have a pick and place machine. You can have a laser cutter. You can have a plasma cutter. You can deal with thick metals on a homemade CNC machine, and nobody was gonna bat an eye, and it won't even break your basically bank balance. So fundamentally, these sort of development was unheard of. Like, CNC is very old technology, as in like 1970s and 80s, but back then, like, only few people were allowed to access this sort of technology. But CNC now, it's like, who cares? It's like, yeah, it's just more precise, more better in super expensive one, but you can get very close to, like, those industrial performance. Like, of course, let's say industrial performance 100, you cannot make a CNC that reaches 100 in home, but you can make a CNC that can easily reach to 60 or 80. So that's why development is far easier today than it was ever before. Then we come to making a product itself is okay, but marketplace is the another aspect. Now in this regard, internet has changed everything, because any Tom, Dick and Harry can make a product, and if is good enough, charming enough, can sell it. and that translates to the final success. Think of it this way: before internet era, there was no such thing as marketing. TV marketing was idiotically expensive. You had to have a lot of bank balance in order to even dare to do that. Internet, I have a free YouTube channel. Basically, I made the channel for free. Linus Tech Tips, for example, started out as a YouTuber, and now he is running a company where he's making actual products and selling it. Now you may be like, okay, so other companies are making, but he has a deal. They must have started somewhere. It's like, okay, let's order some samples. And how the heck this individual could have a shop that has enough throughput, that lttstore.com, where it's like, okay, there is like a whole ecosystem of basically producers, inventory managers, and all that jazz from a single individual. That's possible because of internet. Internet has changed everything, fundamentally speaking. And the fact one person can reach million, there is actual feasible reality where you can have one person make a slogan popular, and people like buying t-shirts like in numbers of hundreds and thousands, like things that Nike and all other clothing brand would kill for. That's achievable to single individual for free. So that's the whole point. And then easy marketplace, like you can sell it on Amazon, you can sell it to, like, heck, you can make your software and sell it to somewhere else. Heck, you can make your own marketplace. That's why I said internet changed everything. And because of this online shopping industry, the basically physical shipment of the goods is now upmost priority. Heck, even in lockdowns, shipping was done correctly. So fundamentally, we are in a technological place at this point in time where a single individual can do amazing things. Now all those things will not mean much if your country is poor, but at this point in time in humanity, we are very less people are in poverty. Now you may be like, okay, India has like 50 million people in poverty. Absolutely, every country has that. But thing is, if you compare that to, let's say, 1820, we are in much better position. If you compare that to 2000, we are in much better position. So by the time we are 2020, the amount of people living in object poverty, basically they are like horrible life conditions, that are reducing. And slowly, like, people expect us like, oh, I don't want anybody to be starving. That's not going to happen. Brick by brick, day by day, it's improving. It's going to take its time. But the biggest advantage to this all is the middle class is growing. And more the middle class become powerful, the more capable a country becomes, because middle class is the lifeblood of the country, so to say. Upper class, we used to have that. We always has that. It's like kings, queen, and all that jazz. We always used to have that. That never made a country prosperous. But the moment you have a healthy middle class, JJ. So that's why marketplace, and the fact that people have more disposable income today than they ever had, that's the amazing part of it. That's why people can do this today, not in past. Now, what we can expect in the future? Well, you have to understand this. The idea is there are many things that will benefit from this sort of development. For example, like I wanted to do cable management, so I 3D printed this thing. Like in current, if the world did not went boom, I could actually try to mass produce this thing. Like why anybody use this rather than zip ties? Zip ties are used and throw, and they bunch every cable up. Many times you will want the cables to be in line, basically like your fingers, not just like like a bundle. You want your fingers. I can do this, and this has the ability to adjust for any thickness of cable, of course within reason. So you can have, like, I have a RJ174 using for my SDR. Now I have RJ58, which is much thicker. You can have Ethernet cable, like different thickness. I can accommodate this. Now this sort of thing is possible. I built this, like, this was a design I made in Fusion 360, printed on my 3D printer, and if I was like so inclined, I could actually sell it. Like, people will be like, hey, even if I make the 3D file available online, people will be like, you know what, I don't have a 3D printer, or I just want to support you. It's like, hey, take it and go. So these sort of things are possible. However, it's not for everything. So be mindful. This is not something that you want to do with cement production or like railway wheel production or things of that nature. It's only suited for some things. Then it allows people to make a change. Many times you will notice that, for example, camera companies, they're horrible. And they are not horrible as in like they do not have good technology. They are horrible in a way where they are like, let's F the customer. For example, a camera. There was a law in European Union where it was like, okay, that shall not give you more than 30-minute recording limit, because if you have more than 30 minutes, I will classify it as a video camera and then I'll task you more. Okay, so camera company was like, okay, we understand that. Like, there is a law, we have to follow the law. Awesome. Even though the law only existed in Europe, why the heck they did not have models, which they do region lock the models? Why the heck they did not have models like okay, USA and all that jazz? It was like, okay, I get it. You respected the law. Awesome. It is. The law has been revoked for the last 2-3 years. Only Sony is the company that's like, okay, law has been removed. Even the newest, cheapest camera, like A6100, no recording limit. Now, Canon is like, no. We still gonna pretend that recording limit is there. I'm like, why? It's like you can have overheating, but then people will figure it out. It's like they can have cooling fan or they can work in air conditioned room. That's up to them. It's like why you are giving a limit that does not exist. So because of this development in technology, now you have other companies like Zcam, Kfinity camera companies. Now these companies are like, hey, we can buy the same sensor from same manufacturer. Like for example, how iPhone buys screens from Samsung itself and sensors from Sony. Other companies can also do that. It's free for all nowadays. You can do that, and they're like, hey, because our name does not carry so much weight, as in like compared to Red or RE, we're gonna give good tools to public, and whoever is buying that, of course, there's a element of risk. They do not have R&D budget as big as like Canon and all that, but like people who are buying it, it's like, damn, it works. It's like it's 1/10 of the price of a Red camera, and it gets almost close to that, and it has less bug than that, and it allows you to use NVMe, not SATA, which crashes. Like, it's like it's kind of hilarious. But look at people. It's like $80,000 Red camera which crashes. I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? So that's the whole thing. Allows small group of people to make a change. For example, Pebble was very successful Kickstarter. Oculus, very successful. These things became so big that other companies spent millions to billions of dollars to acquire them. So these are successful things. Like, this is not a dream in the sky kind of thing. The people have done it. So this is a new era of business framework. Now you may be like, okay, let's assume you tried to make something. Let's say you hated Zoom H1n, you made a better Zoom H1. Can't Zoom just remake it? No, that's why I specified the mass production is very inflexible. So if the company has not recovered the cost of the tooling they did for this product, they will still keep producing it, even if it is not selling. That's the whole point. That's why I specified they are very close to what we call a sunken cost fallacy. It's like one bad, let's say one new product can easily basically destroy them. And that's what happened with Nokia. That's what happened with BlackBerry. So be very mindful. The future has changed. Like, we are living in a future where small group of people can make amazing things. So this was my presentation on small scale manufacturing, which is the biggest change in our modern world. Hopefully you have liked this presentation. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.